Hello, guys. Before going back to sleep, just want to go for another uh, live broadcast. This time, like the first two scenes I made are just like, let me just show you guys. How I made this first scene, like what I'm trying is like, I have no concrete plans on what kind of a game it'll be, but like just creating some kind of a game which will just showcase my level design capabilities and at the same time a little bit of basic like blueprint knowledge and like programming and stuff. So just want to create some actual, to be honest, some random scenes. And then eventually later on, just think about an idea about what kind of a game I could make. Like this one was the first one I did a couple days back. Like we're gonna have like first I thought I was going to make like a like an open world game. That's probably gonna be a little bit difficult. So eventually I thought like maybe I'll just go for a game which will have some like close boundaries as a level. Like eventually I'm thinking about having more than like I don't know 2, 3 different levels like that, and then I don't know, just bring them somehow together, my first purpose was just like to create some different atmospheres and different level designs and stuff. This was the first one I did a couple days back, like I said. And then this one was the next one I did, just like, like I didn't spend much time on it. It was just like probably like, I don't know, like 20, not 20 minutes, but like maybe an hour or something. I'm talking about this one right now, and also the second one I did it live a couple hours back, and it was almost an hour too, I guess. So, it's most of the time it's not much time, like just to get some like different materials, different assets together, just to create some kind of a harmony of like different colors and textures and shapes and stuff, and then eventually, I don't know, I have to think about the game mechanics after I create it. Like it's not going to be my first. Hold on a second. Okay, so like this is the first one, like I said, and right now we're going to see the second one, which is like a more different. I'm just trying to make like different kind of like different atmospheres and stuff. Like I'm still thinking about that in some detail in the future. Like this is not the final result. It's just like it's just something I did like in an hour. So like I'm still thinking about like how many different levels I have to have, how to bring them together and stuff. It's just like first, like I said, I'm just trying to make some level design, some different atmospheres and stuff. So okay, so right now I'm going to create another scene, like which is going to be the copy of the first one I showed you guys. Not going to save anything right now. Go to that, and then here, if you guys downloaded and tried the new like showcase of Unreal Engine 5, the Unreal Engine 5, like they had a showcase, like bringing this, like they had this Utah Canyon collection, like with the different sandy assets, they actually had a new approach, like the approach they used to have was more like, like creating the landscape first. And then in this landscape, you use the foliage tool just to add some detail, like it has a couple problems. It's actually total okay as a workflow, but the problem with that was, like the new Lumina and the Nanite they have for global illumination to work. They had to have as far as I know, it doesn't work with landscape in Unreal Engine 4 and in Unreal Engine 5. You can still create like landscape here in Unreal Engine 5, First, I'm going to start with the same thing, like I did last time, like just selecting everything here. I mean, maybe it's best if I just like create an empty scene, like instead of like going through this thing like every single time, like deleting all of them, and also this one here, and all of this here. I'm thinking about showing it to you guys, so just in a second, like I mean, these are not actual meshes. They're like a cluster of different like meshes combined in a small patch. Like I mean, I can try to show you guys how I did it. Like or I can just like delete them all. Like just start with a new scene and try to show it to you guys. I mean, I could also show it here. The thing is, like they're like I said, they're not a single mesh. Once you right click, you're gonna see the edit here, and then you go to edit, and then eventually you're gonna see like it's just like different materials. I mean, if you guys are like more or less familiar with like 3D workflows, like this is just basically like an instance or a group, or I don't know what you call it. I mean, in every software it's called something else. But eventually in Blender, this is real similar to the instances you have in Blender. Like you can just like I don't know play with it, and then eventually after you're done with your modifications, like you can commit those changes, save, select. Oh, hey, sorry, I shouldn't do that. Shit. Because right now I just realized, like I mean, the first map I did, it's also using the same. Oh god, this is not good. But still, I think, I mean, here you guys can see, it also modified the first map I did. Like it's like a universal material, but still it looks okay. Like I thought it was gonna be more problematic, but like as far as it looks, it's okay. So we can just leave it at that. I thought that was supposed to be like a live stream. Hold on a second. I'm trying to check if it's working on Google on YouTube. This is kind of weird. I mean, normally when you're live broadcasting, you were supposed to have some kind of a small window here which will show all the comments and stuff. So right now I don't see it. I'm just okay. It's here. So Saku-san made a comment. He's or she's asking, what are you working on? So, I mean, I'm not like, to be honest, I'm not working on something specific. It's just, like in the first video, I tried to explain a little. I mean, I decided to create a portfolio, like just like a theoretical portfolio, which will showcase my like 3D capabilities and like I don't know like level design capabilities and stuff like that. Like I mean the office I'm working, I'm doing stuff like this the whole time, but still like it's been such a long time in the same office. I couldn't find any time to do something. I mean, like I'm not even sure if I can use like if I'm allowed to use the stuff I did at work because like because of like the non-disclosure agreement and everything. Maybe I can, maybe not, but I'm still trying to get something together, like just in case I decide to use it in the future, like it's not actually something, something practical, like I first thought I was going to do a portfolio, like without a purpose, and then like a theoretical portfolio. Then I asked myself, like when I'm doing anyway, I mean, why wouldn't I just like, like instead of having something theoretical, like do like an actual portfolio, like try to build an actual game from scratch, and then like, I mean, just like eventually put it on Steam or somewhere, instead of doing some work for nothing, like I can just, I mean, I have no idea if I'm going to be successful in selling it or not, but still, I mean, just try my luck. And when I do it anyway, like when I'm going to create a game, like why wouldn't I just like create from every single step, just like shoot a video and like just upload everything online, like instead of just like sitting here home alone and then doing everything alone, like I thought like it will give me some motivation maybe. So, I mean, it's not actually a real answer probably. And the specs I have is like, I have 2070 RTX. It's not it's not as good as I have it to work, but like, I mean, it's still not that bad, like 2070 RTX and what else? I mean, 16 RAM. It's nothing special. I was thinking about buying a new laptop, but the market is terrible right now, like it's just like everything's sold out. I couldn't find anything, so like anything actually better, like, I mean, you can get something better. But I mean, if normal price for that would be like, I don't know, like 2 grand, they sell it for, I don't know, like 4 grand, 5 grand. So I decided I'll wait a little. So nice to meet you, by the way. Okay, so I'm trying to get the stuff into Unreal right now. Yeah, this is the problem. I mean, I kind of, like every single time you try, I mean, when you download this 3D assets, like, I mean, they're huge. Okay, so it's understandable, like, I mean, the pieces, like, I mean, before Unreal Engine 5 and before Nanite, every mesh like this, like I'm talking about a small mesh like this, like, I mean, I have no idea about the size, but it's probably not like a huge asset, like, I mean, something like this. I mean, before it was like, I don't know, it used to have like different LODs and stuff, and the first LOD was like, I don't know, like 20 megabytes or something like that. And right now, if you download it into Nanite, with the Nanite setting, it's gonna import the actual mesh, the scam file, like it's not like and it's smaller than you'll get in the scam. I know, like, if you guys use like what was the name of the software? Epic Games recently bought them. What was the name of capturing reality? I mean, like when you 3D scan stuff there, like the size is like most of the time the size is like unbelievably huge. So I think this is going to be something similar. Okay, so just trying to get this tank into Unreal Engine. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Like, this is crazy. Okay, this is Canyon. These are all Canyon assets. Cool. So we can just start with like getting something like this into the scene. It's probably gonna need some time till the textures are compiled and stuff. So that's also another one. Doesn't happen every single time, but time to stuff, like, and I'm just like, I mean, we need some material for the floor, something like this. Maybe I will this one here. I'll show you guys. Take forever. Maybe it's best to do these things before I start like broadcast on the video. Just, like everything, I can just leave it in the background, like for an hour or something. I mean, still my Wi-Fi, like my internet connection is pretty good, but still it takes a huge time. Okay, just whatever. I'll just start with like dragging all those things into the scene. Let's see how it's gonna Just want to make sure if the textures are imported or not. Like this is probably the problem, like I mean the textures are all here, but Unreal Engine needs some time to compile them. So right now it's gonna take another 5 minutes. So this is what I do next time, like just first of all, like I'll just do everything in the background before starting to shoot the video. Okay, so I got, hey, right now you see it, right? The problem, like I mean, next time I'll do it like before I start with the video. So anyway, so I mean, it's still the same problem. I mean, the first one is imported, but still we have to wait for the other two, so they will be like compiled, so it will look kind of. I mean, right now the roughness and normal, you see, it's not there. Like it's just like it's only albedo. That's it. I mean, as far as I. Okay, so just play with the on direction, like I mean that's also I can't just mention this enough, like the sun intensity and the skylight, like if you just go with something crazy, you will just like play with your stuff inside your scene and eventually you think everything's just working, but then I don't know, like you just change them and then realize everything's just like broken. So like you just have to make sure that your light settings are also okay before actually doing something. Okay, this one's here. Both imported. So like I will just like paint the material of the plane. I mean the first step, like the first 15 minutes of this video is just like totally useless. I'm aware of it. I mean, I had the same problem. I made the same mistake in the last video, like, I mean, I'm not going to, I mean, this is my second video right now. I mean, it's actually, I used to have another channel where I had like, I don't know, like 5 videos, like eventually I just start to post everything into this new channel. So like, I mean, this is my I'm not very experienced in this thing, so like I mean I'm going to make sure I get it right in the next video. So right now it's I mean this is unacceptable. I mean it can't work like this. All right, so we're going to get our material into the scene. Not this one, God, come on! I just downloaded that right here, this one. So I have to click here. So I mean, but this is more or less like an Unreal Engine bug. So you see the same problem, like the material just doesn't work. It needs to compile, like always, like it's always the same problem. Okay, so I hope it's only 5 more minutes till everything's going to be okay. I think like after this material, like after they compile, everything's just going to work really fast. I think. I hope. Let's say. Come on, it's getting me crazy. Getting me crazy. I'm going to buy myself a new laptop. So like this is uh, it's getting me crazy, dude. Come on. Okay, so this is the pre-made what was the software called, like Quixel Megascans, where you find all these materials and stuff. Like this is the pre-made material for Quixel Megascans, and then in this master material, you're gonna see your tiling and like stuff. Like those are already made like options inside. Like every single Quixel material you will import into Unreal Engine, you will just try to get something like kind of which makes kind of sense. I mean, you're not going to use it like that much anyway. So what you're going to use is, instead of this things here, like what you can do, like you can just get a material like a 3D asset like this, like you can just copy it, rotate, and then again, you're suddenly going to see, like it will just kind of make sense, like even though, like you're using the same thing, like, and you have to play with the scale a little, like of course you have to vary it a little, like you can't use the same thing over and over and over again, but still, I mean, it doesn't look that bad, like, I mean, there's 4 pieces here, or it makes kind of sense, and then you can also use, like, I don't know, like, scale it in a single axis or something like that, just to make sure you will just break the repetition a little. After you create something like this, like it's not supposed to be perfect, like, I mean, you guys have something like this, like select them all with the control, left click and stuff, right click, and then you guys can create like a level instance, no, pack level instance blueprint from the 5 assets here, and then okay, and then you have to name it like, I don't know what you name it, like rock cluster or whatever. I'm not very good with naming stuff, but anyway. I mean, this is like a new object right now. Like you can just choose it, select it, like copy it, rotate it, whatever. I mean, you're not going to use like a single thing for the whole thing, but still, I mean, like even if you do it, this still doesn't look terrible, like it's still acceptable, right? I mean, kind of, but still, like I said, we're not going to do that. So, like this, right? Another one, rotate. But this is not the best possible mesh you can use for something like this. Like you can just zoom in and then you're suddenly going to see that light direction with Control L. You can just rotate the sun real quick, and you're going to see like everything in Lumen just works real time, like without any, I mean, all the, how can I show it? Maybe something like this, something like this. And then right now you can't see it very good because of the skylight. If I just turn down the skylight and then crank up the intensity of the sun, and then also there's a problem with the fog. I mean, maybe at first we can just like turn up the fog, like just to make everything more visible, like because that's the problem. I mean, you see the light comes from this direction, like it will just bounce and then bounce from here and everywhere, like it's just gonna create this nice global illumination. I mean, which is, even though my material here is like white, you're gonna see all the reflection and it's gonna look like brownish and like stuff, like it's actually kind of cool, like that everything's working in real time. So everything's working in real time. Okay, so delete it and then come back here again. Instead of this material here, like I also downloaded this, but I didn't download this one here. And also a couple more, like so we can create some kind of variety. After this one here, maybe. I can import it into Unreal Engine. This can be a cool thing, like Unreal Engine did the same, I mean, almost like use the same collection to do like a similar scene for the showcase of the Unreal Engine 5. Let's go here. Let's go back to here. I will need this imported into my Unreal Engine. This is getting me crazy. Probably need to shoot these videos in the office, like instead of I have almost like a supercomputer at work, like a real good workstation with 3080. I can, like I can just stay after work in the office just to do some personal stuff. I mean, you would probably say why not, except for the electricity cost, maybe. So that might be a problem. Okay, so I mean, even 20 is not that good, but still, yeah, I think that's a problem. Yeah, just like it 0.2, like 0.5 maybe. Okay, this looks okay. Okay, right? Yeah, so, this looks good. Okay. All right, so look at the two, right, the import this mesh here. This is gonna be a massive canyon. Like, it's a massive, it's almost like a mountain, right? Okay. I mean, I hope, I need something like that, so I hope it's something like that. So. Okay. My girlfriend's on vacation. I'm alone for the last, I think, 5 days, and then she'll be honestly coming. I think she's coming in 5 days, so I have this 10 days where I'm going to be where I was going to be alone. So, like I thought it was kind of a cool idea just to start with something like that. Even though this is getting me crazy, I mean, I can't say this now. I mean, maybe it's not the best idea to do a live broadcast, but the problem is I'm not like I don't believe I can invest all this time, like just shoot some videos and then eventually invest some time to edit them and stuff, like it's just much like a lot of time. So like I think this is the best I can do, like if someone's interested they can watch it. If not, so like still I'm going to have like a visual like diary of everything I did for the last, I don't know, like couple months. Okay, so this looks huge actually. I wasn't expecting something this big. It's way bigger than I was expecting. So like I was actually wishing something a little bit smaller. Maybe we'll just scale it down, right? Like just get something like this. And then this is actually kind of a cool thing to show, like this is, I mean, still I'm going to wait for which one is this? This is, I think, the roughness material. All right, right now it's working. So like, you get something like this, you copy it, rotate it, and this is not the best possible mesh to show it, but still, just by using a single material like this, you can just like super fast, you can just prototype something like this. Of course, I'm not going to leave it like this, like this is the first, this is probably the first part of it, like it looks okay, doesn't look too bad, but still, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to use something like this, maybe, okay, yeah, anyway, so this one, I think there's also another one. So normally you should have like a yellowish highlight show what you have selected. But right now I don't see it, but anyway, so like I can just use something like this, like as a group, and then I can create a selection from that to tag level instead of blueprint, like last time canyon, cluster, or whatever I can call it, whatever. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, so right now I have a cluster like this. I mean, the size is unbelievable. Okay, I have this is, okay, I'm going to break this. Because this is a problem, like I had like couple times with the newest version of Unreal Engine, like, I mean, I think a bug. Uh, but it's a terrible bug. Like you just create a level, pack level. I think that depends on the actor. Okay, okay. So this was the reason. Like I just my pivot was like created just like outside of the group, which is totally not cool. Canyon cluster. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, right now it works. So, this is okay. This looks cool enough, I think. Uh, so this thing here, like I'm using it. So this is not the one. So I always try to use something like this, like just pull like a small cube into my scene and then scale it up in the z-axis to 1.75 or something like that, so I can make sure, like I don't lose the human scale. If you lose the scale, like you can just work on your scene, like I don't know, like for a couple hours eventually, just to check, like just to pull like a character into your scene, and then eventually you realize like everything you worked on was like completely out of proportion. You don't want it, so like you just make sure that everything's in proportion. So okay. So we can just like after we get something like this, like we can just like super fast, we can just start to prototype the whole scene, like, and we're not going to only be doing that in the YZ, no, not YZ, so XY axis, but also like the Z axis or something like that. Real quick. I'm going to spend my time on it, like I don't know, to like I don't know, rotate something like this, maybe something like this, and then an idea. I mean, like it's not too good, like it's not super cool if you just like use the same asset like over and over and over and over and over again. So like you may want to make sure that you have like different versions of the same. Okay, this is enough. This is nothing. Yeah. Okay, this is like a smaller, cute, tiny little rock. Where? Okay, it's here. So this, I think, there's another one. Yeah, correct. Like we can use this one to add some variation to it. So like just like scale it, rotate it, push it, pull it, whatever. It would be like a door. Nah, doesn't look that good. Actually, something cooler. Yeah, maybe something like this. Just to add a little bit of variation. Good. Okay, so just keep doing it, with the main mesh. Maybe what you can also do is like scale it in just single axis, which I don't like that much. Like you will always encounter some problems doing that, but still, I mean, time to time, you just have to make sure it'll work with the situation. Like my girlfriend's calling me right now. Sorry for that. I have to just mute it for some time. So like I'm just Okay, had to tell her good night, so that's what I did. As a perfect boyfriend, I'm a dream boyfriend. Okay, so like I mean, like this is what I mean. Like I mean, you just like randomly just like pull these things into your scene, and then it will always kind of make sense. Like you will never think, like this didn't work. Like it never happens. It always works. So like I mean, right now in the next step, I'm gonna show you guys like where it gets even crazier. Like I mean, right now, like I mean, the whole time in the CGI industry, like you were using textures like this. Eventually, don't give a shit about how detailed it looks and stuff. But right now, like with the release of Unreal Engine 5, that also changed. So like I mean, it changed in a real good way. So I'll show you guys that real soon. Okay, so we can just this is a problem. Yeah, whatever. We can use it like this, like just want to add some a little bit more depth to it, uh, which I think kind of work. Like copy it again, rotate, pull, push. Yeah, looks like a cool valley, right? Like I mean, it looks realistic. It looks cool. I mean, I'm still thinking about adding some like I don't know some unnatural elements to it, like I don't know something like some structure, some building, something. I still have to think about it though. I have no concrete like idea what I'm going to do, but still, I mean, there's a just want to showcase you guys like how fast it all goes. Like I mean, like we start the broadcast like I think like I don't know 20 minutes ago, right? Like right now we almost have something, right? I mean, I know it's still the same thing, like copied over and over again, but still, I mean, look at the level of detail, like this is crazy. This is crazy. Just look at the level of detail. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and right now we come to this one. I have to find some cool meshes, like which I can use to like I don't know like create the surface. Like not this one, maybe this one. Still the problem with this one, like we can just try to fix it, like import it into Unreal Engine, sorry, into Blender and stuff. But I think it's a kind of a huge time consume, like I mean this one's real cool. We can use this. We already created this kind of a like a group of materials, like I mean still when I check the scale of it, like I realize it's actually first I thought it was kind of a like huge rock, like but right now when I check it, like I suddenly realize it's actually kind of a small kind of almost like I don't know like real small stones, you can always use stuff like this, like just to give your scene more detail or not. So like it depends on what you want to get. But still, like I said, what I need to find is something cool to use for covering the ground. So like something like this maybe. I mean I'm not that sure of it, like I have to check it, but also something like this. I mean this is where I think the actual magic is like happening, like this is real cool. It's unbelievably cool. So like you okay? So maybe this one. This one also doesn't look. I mean, there's a slight problem with that. You guys are going to realize what the problem is. So, I mean, it's like a small problem, but might want to make sure you get some material. Like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to make a huge deal of it. You first start with something like this, and then eventually you have to get something like this, just to make sure you fill in the gaps. Like it's nothing too complex. You know, just you're just going to need to like fill this area. Like rotate, scale. Nothing too complicated. Up here, rotate, rotate, a little bit higher, and then these parts are also kind of cool with like small, maybe the same one. The same one? I think it's the same one, right? Okay, this is the same one. I could also check the name, like the name is here. And I uncheck this now. There's also another possibility. Nothing too complicated. That's what he said. Okay, so we might also need some like small rugs or something like this maybe. And then also this one looks real cool. You guys are gonna see what I mean by that when I download it. Not this one. It's the same, right? Yeah, that's the same. This one. Also not this one. I'm going to wait for the thing to download. But what you can also do is, so right now we have like different variations of this one is not complete, but still it's going to be. I'm going to add a little bit more detail to this, a little bit of different materials and stuff, so the gaps are not that visible, right now it might look kind of weird, like that. Okay, you see, we selected them all. You can just right click and create from selection, level instance, pack level instance, blueprint, actor, center, maybe actor. Yeah, center. Okay, yeah, actor. Okay, anyone. Whatever. Okay, we got something right. We want to go that one. Okay, so this, I mean, we need a small piece like this probably. I mean, not, I mean, it's, okay, just fill in the gaps, like, I mean, there are some small gaps all over the place, like it looks kind of weird, like when you just like copy the same thing over and over again. It'll look kind of fake. It'll just break the uh, illusion in a way. Okay, so I'm going to edit this, like inside the edit, I'm going to pull in this tank into the scene, like it's going to add it into the group or instance, whatever you call it. God, this is getting me crazy. Like every single time it takes like I don't know, like 3 minutes, and I first like it just happens for the first time, like it doesn't happen like when you duplicate. I mean, like right now we have it inside the scene, like when I pull it again into the scene, like it wouldn't take that long. But the first time is always crazy. I don't get it. Whatever. Okay, it needs to compile and stuff still. We can do what we're gonna do and like it can compile like yeah, probably it's too much, right? Like we can delete one of them, right? Oh, doesn't look bad, I think. I hope. Yeah, nothing too complicated. Yeah, now we can copy it one more time. I mean, eventually there's something natural, like it's not going to, it doesn't supposed to be perfect, like, I mean, you can leave it like that, not a huge problem. I think that's fine enough, so, like, eventually you gotta commit what you did. Oh, shit. Oh, God. I didn't save it. God, come on. I think this is going to be it for today, like, I didn't save it. God. I want to cry right now. I spent like I don't know like how much time I spent on it. Let me just check. I started with this video, right? Like 45 minutes of just spent to. Oh god! I just left 45 minutes. Just let's. Oh god! I want to cry right now. Just lost 45 minutes. But still, like how it's gonna go for the next time. Oh god. Also, maybe I can try to restore it, but most of the time it just doesn't work. Yeah, see, it don't work. Yeah, I mean, still, I think I lost some part of it, but still, it's not that bad. Like it still takes some work, except for the fog is just turned on. I mean, the weather right now here is almost the same. Yeah, that specific piece I just created, just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, still, I downloaded all the assets I need for it, right? It should go pretty quick, right? At least I hope. Hey, still, we can also go for something like this, like scaled up a little, just rotate, 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 rotate. And then eventually we're going to make sure we fill in all the gaps. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. Never forget to fill in those gaps. Like you don't want someone to. This is this is unbelievably cool in Unreal Engine 5. Like I mean, like before, like you have to optimize like everything inside your scene. Like I mean, like all the materials, all the meshes, and everything. You couldn't just like I mean, like these are all like photo scanned materials. Like this is crazy. I mean, you wouldn't even think about doing something like this. Like it's something total crazy. I mean, you could never do something like this in the past. Right now it's like unbelievable. I mean, you're just pulling everything. Like if you guys want to see how it looks, I can show you guys that. I mean the triangles and stuff. It's unbelievable. But right now you see it here. Like we just go and like turn on Nanite here overview. This is the triangle count. I mean, this is unbelievable. I'm just going to show you guys only the triangles. Like this is the level of detail. Like this is my scene. Like on the fly when you zoom in, like it just automatically just changes the level of detail of the meshes. Like this is total crazy. My girlfriend's sending me some stuff like in the meanwhile. Someone watching. I think no one's watching stuff. I could do it anyway. Okay, so like okay. Not this one. This one, okay, maybe I can use this one, but just scale it way smaller. Something like this. Something like this. It's the same mesh here. Other time. Like I could spend all the time on it. Like I mean, I'm sure the folks at Epic Games, or I don't know if it was Epic or the Quixel did it. Like I'm sure they spend a huge amount of time for that. Like I could also do it, but I'm not going to do it right now. Like I'm just going to create something basic. Like it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I'm just going to use it for some for I mean at the time just for just creating some like concept art. I mean, not concept art, but whatever you call it, like some atmosphere design, or I don't know if that's the right way of saying it. Okay, so like copy, rotate, copy. I think that's good enough. Like I said, I'm not going to spend much time on it because this is not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about was something like something what I'm going to do in the next step. Like it's just going to be a cluster. It's not the actual thing. It's going to be a cluster. I could have used the pack they did the folks at the Quixel. I just want to create it from scratch, like the way I want it. Okay, this is everything, right? I think so. Right click, create from selection, level pack, whatever instance blueprint, and then select one of them, and then OK, and then rock cluster or whatever. Okay, so we got it right. Right now, after we got something like this, let's copy it all over the place. After having the first cluster, like just at first you're gonna think, like this is not as good as it should. But the thing is, this is the first step. Like I said, like this is most of the time what I'm spending my time on. Like this is what I'm going to do at home alone. And right now I'm doing this broadcast, and this is actually not entirely just to show you guys, but this is actually what I'm going to do in my time. So, like, I'm sorry, guys, if this is boring or something, like, okay, so this is what I want to talk about. Like, this is something you would never get, like, normally. Let me just check. DPP, rock, oops, sorry, on that. I'm always getting lost between this rock. Okay, so like we're going to select all of them. Going to have something like this. Not that one. Oh God. Okay. Going to select all of them and then like copy it again. So like, this is it gets real crazy. This is unbelievable. Just look at the scene. I don't have like a supercomputer or something like that. But the way it works, it's unbelievable. I'm just going to copy it like I don't know, like 5, 6 more times. Like just to show you guys the level of detail in this thing. And then afterwards, I'm going to activate the nanite visualization here. This is the triangle count. How crazy is this? How crazy is this? Like all the triangles, when you just get more far away from them, like they just get larger and larger and larger, and then it just optimizes the whole scene in the fly, like on the fly. I mean, this is definitely the future, like I don't, like I said, I don't have a supercomputer or something like that. I mean, the computer I have is just like, I don't know, like 2070 with 16 gigs of RAM, and that's it. Nothing too special, but it works crazy. Okay, so this isn't what I was thinking about, but like I was thinking about getting some like this. Like I'm going to select all of them, like just check here, like how many pieces here. Going to copy it. I hope my PC just doesn't crash, like I mean it might crash. The thing is, like when I copy it, it's like super hard on the memory and stuff. But like as soon as you copy, like I mean, and it's done, I mean, what you get. This is crazy. The level of detail is just crazy. And then eventually, I mean, what I was trying to say was like, this is going to be the floor, like instead of like, I mean, even if you used like, what was that called? Like the height map, like in the past, you would never get something like this. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like using height map, you can have something let me just show you guys. I mean, you can have something like this using height map, but you can never get something like this using height map because, like it's just like basically a 2D image and it can never represent that as just like having this angle here in the bottom to the other direction. Like all the stones here, like this is nothing we could achieve in the past with the what was the name of it? With the height maps. And after you have it, like of course, I mean, when you look at it, you're gonna see all the repetition and stuff, like it repeats itself. I mean, it's undeniable. But like what you can do in the next step is just, like get something else just to break the repetition, like I mean, something like this. Albeit not going to use like single one of them, like I mean, you're gonna wanna, I don't know, like use like thousand of them, like I mean one here, one there, and then not just a single piece, like you're going to want to use like I don't know, like a lot of different like similar pieces, like which will break all the repetition here. Which is, I mean, I think it's good enough. So, like, I mean, this thing here is blocking the view a little. Let me just okay. Now we have done like that. Let me just get like I mean I'm not going to or I'm not trying to achieve something or anything, like I mean never seen so far I always use the thing. I mean this was something I did like super quick in Blender. It's nothing special. It's just like a placeholder. I'm thinking about weapon with something else in the future. So right now, I mean I'm like the idea is like having this natural, realistic looking scenes, and then eventually have something like total alien type of scenes, something like the, I mean, which is this. It's nothing cool, but this is the idea. Just the idea, like that's something like this, something like this. Like I said, this is a placeholder. Like this isn't something real. Or this isn't something like I'm planning to have when I'm done with the scenes and stuff. But what I wanna show you guys here, like I mean, it's also not done with this. I don't know, like scale it up or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so like when I turn off the lights, what I mean by turn off the lights is just like, you know, like this. I have the material here, which is an emissive material, and I go into the settings, like when I crank it up to 2000 or something like that, you're going to see this thing is actually lighting up the scene. I mean, this is crazy, like you just zoom in, and we could instead of like 2000, we can also have like some like 20,000 or something, which is like super exaggerated, but still, you're going to see the shadows here, which is crazy. I mean, like it's almost like, look at it. Look at the shadows and stuff. Yeah, okay, so we're not going to, I mean, it's too dramatic. We're not going to want something like this, but still, I mean, just want to show you guys how it's working. So I'm going to stay with this. Okay, with Control L, we just bring up the sun. Well, same point somewhere there. Okay, we may wanna turn on the fog. I mean, I'm not going to get something, maybe nothing like this. I don't know, maybe something like this is also fine. What do you guys think? Like there's anyone. Oh god. Yeah. So let me just save the scene. This is way too much, but still, I kind of like it. I kind of like the how dramatic it just feels. Like I mean, it's not realistic, but still, that's kind of cool. Like when you go to the instead of like 20, I can have like 10. I mean, nothing is concrete, like I mean the intensity here, like the sunlight is not going to be that strong, like it's probably going to stay at like 0.2, and then my directional light is going to be at like 20 or something, which is also affecting the fog, which which is getting kind of way too out of proportion, but like instead of something like this, maybe something like that. Okay. This doesn't look bad, so like maybe I can have this. Yeah, instead of maybe I can have this 30. Okay. But it all depends on the direction of the sun. You see, just change everything, and then just everything just changes dramatically. And what I think is super cool with the new version of Mario, like I mean, hey, this is one problem, by the way. The problem I have to going to solve it. Like the problem is the materials are not two-sided materials, so like the background of like I think with the newest version of Unreal Engine, the two-sided materials don't work with Lumen right now. So I have to find another solution. Just like I don't know, maybe just try to modify the fonts a little. What am I talking about? I'm super sleepy, you guys. Hey, I have no idea what I'm talking about, so maybe it's time for me to go. Not super late. I don't know why, but I'm like super sleepy. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to change the, you see, just turn up the. When you turn off the skylights, I mean, this is how it works. The sun is coming from this direction. It just bounces here off the surface here, and then just lights up this part of the field. And right now, the only reason, I mean, normally you have skylight. I mean, if you just like take it to a crazy level, like you're gonna see it, it doesn't make any sense. But when you get the indirect lighting here to 0, it's just going to be complete dark. I mean, this is how it normally works with like, I mean, all the versions of Unreal Engine and stuff, or with all the rasterization. I mean, it's always the same. And right now, the only thing like lighting up is part of the emissive material here, which we can also turn off 0. It's not supposed to be minus, it's supposed to be 0. And then it needs a little bit of time to update, like it's just, but there's also some left. Try to, I mean, the way it updates, I don't know, like I think it takes it into RAM, and then when you zoom out and zoom in again, like it's just update. But like this check here, like, I mean, it's super dark. I mean, it's normal, so like this is how it should be. So. Yeah, that's how it should be. But when you set your indirect lighting to something like 20, I mean it's super like exaggerated, but like just make it some like, I don't know, like 4, 5, 2, 3. You're gonna see, and it makes sense. I mean, it's like real time global illumination, and then you just set this to kind of sunlight 0.5, and then you just change the direction of the sunlight, like it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so we might need some vegetation and stuff. I think I'm not going to be doing it today. It's just, like I said, I'm super tired. I don't know. I'm super sleepy, so I'm going to come here, go to vegetation. Here's the vegetation here, 3D plants, and then there you have the stuff, the shrub and stuff. So like, I mean, you can just, like I said, I'm not going to spend any more time on that. That's just super sleepy, but like just to add some more light into the scene, you have to add some vegetation and also some people items. So like, I'm just save the scene. And then just so you guys can get the scale right, like I'm just going to grab the 3D model of my, supposedly my girlfriend, which is kind of, I mean, my sculpting skills are not the best, but come on, yeah, I know it's in, so. There's a kind of a problem with the newest version of like, no, not the newest version, with the meta-human. I mean, there's a meta-human, like it's working pretty good, like you can also animate it and stuff. You can also live link it with an iPhone. So, but the problem is like some hairstyle, like the hairstyle of her right now, like they don't work very good with the LODs and stuff. It's pretty much experimental right now. You have to make sure. I mean, you're being careful about it. Like when you zoom out, like I mean, suddenly it just start to work, but like I mean, most of the time it just doesn't work. Like I mean, zoom in. It was probably my girlfriend, like I said. Yeah, but she went to hairdresser, and right now, like her hairstyle just doesn't match with the hairstyle she has here. So, like, I had to update her. And I mean, just like like I mean, another way of just making sure that you get your skin right is just like I mean, I think like the MetaHuman are like a perfect way of like checking that, like you just zoom in, you know, you see like all the details and everything, they're just lost, like the reason for that is just like the light is just like way too strong, like instead of 30, we're gonna I have to set it to, I'm gonna sound like 20, and then like instead of 3, maybe 2 or something like that, and maybe even 10, like even this big. So right now, looking much more realistic. Not that sure if it's actually the direction I want to go. Like it's much more realistic, but it's not that dramatic. So, like, I mean, maybe that's another thing you have to make sure, or at least you have to make sure what you want to get. Like I mean, when you get more realistic, it doesn't like mean all the time that it's going to be like I mean better. Like I mean, maybe you want unrealistic. Like that's also a possibility. So like I'm going to put the light here just to make sure it works with the light too. I'm not sure if it's light here is like there's like correct like global illumination or something. So incorrect light, incorrect. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I want to go to cinematics and then add a new level sequence. Like I said in the beginning, like I don't have a purpose. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like playing with stuff, like if you guys have anything, like any idea, anything you should think like I should do. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. And I'm dying to sleep. Probably peace out. This is looking real cool. I mean, like, this is looking, like, I mean, this is a cool way of, like, figuring out if the lighting makes any sense, like, I mean, it's not super easy to check it, like, from the surroundings, like, because these are kind of like alien, I mean, these are not kind of places that I know, like, I mean, I just spent my entire life in, like, places, so I have no idea if I'm getting it right or not. But it's super easy to figure out. My girlfriend writing stuff, like I can concentrate them.